It's time for the Film Crickets with Jay Fortier, Chris Martineau, and Melanie Howerton. On this week's episode, our good friend Ray Auger returns to the show, and Jay, Chris, Melanie, and Ray review the 1985 American coming-of-age film, St. Elmo's Fire.
What in the hell was that all about?
Does it stand the test of time? Let's find out. Your Film Crickets are on now.
Oh, yeah, Steve. You know it, brother. All right. Hey, friends, and welcome to the Film Crickets. It is a podcast about the past, where we revisit movies from 1980 to 1999 and decide, beyond a shadow of a doubt, whether or not these movies stand the test of time. I'm your co-host, Jay Fortier, along with my good friend and co-host, Chris Martineau.
Hello, Jason. What's happening?
Hey, doing all right, man?
Oh, yeah.
And we also have good friend and co-host, Melanie Howerton.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing well.
Super.
And he's back. The man behind the mask. We haven't had him since I think since Halloween time. One of those movies. And
that's right.
And it's Ray Auger. Welcome, man.
Hello. How is everybody?
Good.
Super.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Thank you for giving me a good excuse to drink whiskey
All
tonight.
right.
So
I get
cheers.
the red wine.
It's always
All
a
right,
bad
here we go.
excuse, but tonight's a good excuse.
My apologies, everybody.
That's okay. I wish I had more whiskey. I'd join you there, Ray. It's kind of my
That's
drink
okay.
of choice.
I
but
might
that's
switch
all
to
right.
wine later, so
All right,
who
you
knows?
never know. So hey guys, how's everybody feeling after watching St. Elmo's Fire? Good.
I'm glad it's
good.
over.
Don't you feel much better about your own lives? Oh my God. So I was, Jay, you had stepped out for a moment. I was talking to Ray and Melanie. I usually ask, usually the guest kind of gets first dibs at the movie. I asked Ray, I said, Ray, are you responsible for St. Elmo's Fire? And he said, no, I think he ratted you out. He said, no, I think this is Jay's doing. This was your doing,
but
you bastard.
Not for a reason you might think. Not
Okay.
because,
Please.
guys, I really love this movie. No, it's because I've been wanting to bash the shit out of it since I saw it for the first time as an adult. I saw it as an adult, and especially one specific part. Are there aspects of it that's okay? Sure. But there's a lot that's wrong with it, and there's one specific aspect that I've been wanting to. I already asked you in advance to just let me know when it's time, and we'll beat the crap out of it at this point, because it's like none of it made any sense at that, and I'm referring to the Emilio Estevez character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's so much about that, but I don't want to just start in with that. I want to get to that when it happens. And it's going to be fun. But no, it's like every once in a while, you just got to go with something that's bad. And just say, because this was treated with, first off, let's start with John Hughes. John Hughes had nothing to do with it, but it had his people. People that he's used in his movies.
Yep.
So, I'm just going to get right to the whole thing. You always ask, what does this mean to you? How... when did you see it? Did you see it back in the day?
Bring it.
I really, really loved the John Parr theme song. I still do. I think it's fun. Not the
instrumental. Okay, all right.
No, I know. Even though I like that too, but I know why you're cringing, because Ray.
Yeah.
Vic,
Vic Michaels.
the guy that, yes, Vic, Vic Michaels. He was, Chris and I both worked for him, and that was the introduction music for every time we introduced the wedding party. So, every time it was time to introduce the wedding party.
I know that about Vic. I think I knew that.
That man is so
That's
steeped.
funny.
He's so steeped in the 80s.
Yeah. Well,
That he in 1997 he's rolling out. I got this hot hip thing. Let's throw St. Elmo's Fire theme at you. And
The
so
love
now
theme.
this thing comes up a
It
thousand
works.
times.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Now is
So
that
anyway.
David Foster? Before we go
It
on,
is.
is that it?
Yeah.
Is okay. Right.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
So
I like it.
I really
what I like about it. It brands the movie. When you hear that, like when you hear Chariots of Fire, when you hear that, you can envision people running down the beach. That song is so specific to that movie that it's St. Elmo's Fire. I like when movies and music can identify with each other or brand each other.
Okay. Well, branding by terms of a searing hot pain that you feel when it's jammed into your chest, sure. I go branding. In Chariots of Fire, do they keep playing the goddamn song over and over and over again? No, they don't. I don't think they do. I think it's once, but I could be wrong. I haven't seen it. Sorry, Jay, continue your point.
No, it's okay. I love the John Parr song. You know, The Man in Motion. I really do. I still love it to this day. So it played a lot on MTV back in the day, and I watched it over and over again, saying that looks like a lot of fun, because you don't realize that it's going to be as dark and depressing and, like, you know, miserable, or, like, you know, everybody's a bunch of dopes. Like, you know, when you're watching this video, because it's like, you know, I mean, like I said, prior to that, we had nothing but fun with these types of actors, for the most part.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, you know, to a, let's say a 13-year-old, 12-year-old kid, he's going to think that that's what's coming, you know. So, but I never actually got around to it. When it came out on cable, I never bothered sitting down, and I watched it like 10 years ago, maybe, for the first time, and I was like, what the hell? I'm really glad I dodged it for this long. But, you know, they really set you up in such a way that, like, it's like, I didn't expect that at all.
Yeah.
All these beautiful people that are just all so recklessly clueless about basically everything. And there's no reason for them to be clueless, because they went to Georgetown. They're not clueless. They went to Georgetown. You know how hard it is to get into Georgetown? That's
now,
because
what was Billy's major? Was that ever
I've blocked it. Who's Billy?
Billy is
Rob Lowe.
Rob Lowe.
Like, again, not the smartest guy. He got his girlfriend knocked up at an early age, and while they were in Georgetown, well, maybe not, maybe right after graduation. Anyway, why was he in Georgetown? Why was Jules at Georgetown? Because neither one of them, they both seemed a little clueless.
Yeah.
So how did they get into that school?
I'll say this is so the other one he's speaking one is the very like the virginal one.
No, that was Mayor Henning.
Wendy.
You mean the one who's dressed like Miss Doubtfire or a 5-year-old girl with her headband and crocheted sweaters?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I mean, the headbands, the crocheted sweaters, the big flower dresses. I'm like, why are they dressing her like this? She looks exactly like Miss Doubtfire, or a 5-year-old that you would dress up to go to like a dinner party in the 60s. I mean, I don't know. I hated how they dressed her in this movie.
She's terrible because look, wait, man, we're getting into this. Is going to be very stream of consciousness because
we haven't even discussed like how what it means to us, like from when we saw it. Like we just like ran off the rails
I've never
there.
seen this movie before. Never.
God. I mean,
and I heard about it and I knew of it because I knew that when the song was on, I knew what movie it was from, but I've never seen it until the other day. Last night. I watched it last night.
Right, so you get the same vibe I got like 10 years ago. So, like we're kind of in the same boat.
Is it just so? We'll get into like it's so weird because once you start pulling a thread on why you hate these people, the whole sweater is going to unravel. Can I just start? Is it me?
Crocheted sweater.
Yes, yeah. Is it just me? Like the opening? I swear to God, I swear to if there is an afterlife, if there's anyone looking down, I swear on my soul, the moment. And I want to know if anybody else felt this way. The moment, the intro, when you hear the music and they come out of, they just graduated and they're in their robes and some of them are like, they're all happy. And one of them obviously already has a robe undone and is already smoking a cigarette. And they're like, oh man, it wasn't college great. I automatically hated them. And they hadn't said anything yet. It's just that moment of, oh, we're so privileged, we just graduated. Isn't life going to be awesome? And you just want to, I immediately wanted to strangle them and they hadn't done anything yet.
Well, isn't that the point of the movie though, that the world is in front of them at the beginning, they're smiling, they're happy, the world is their oyster, and then throughout the movie we learn that life is difficult. I mean, it should be more difficult. I think the difficulties they went through were kind of bull. And it's a lot. Life is a lot worse than that. But I think that was the idea of the movie. Is like, here's graduation. Everything was great up to this point. Like Billy trying to go back because he misses it and he wants to sell drugs.
We could use a drug dealer.
Pathetic.
We could use some more drugs.
Yeah.
So pathetic. So
They were
pathetic.
excited at first until they realized they wanted him as a drug dealer.
Yeah, but he was the party guy. He's well, now he's starting to realize that's what I'm remembered for. And now I have to go try to make something of myself.
Right.
Yeah.
I watched this from the start, from what was it, 85?
Yes.
Maybe 85. So I was 13 years old. I picked it up on VHS. So I go way back. It holds a special place in my heart. Grew up with the Brat Pack. This was a little weird as a 13-year-old not seeing the high school kids anymore. Now they're college kids. I couldn't really relate at that point. But through the years, I always watched it. And I watched it a few months ago, not because Jay said we were doing this, but because I liked it. Last time I watched it, though, I had some issues with it. So continue.
Oh, no, that's right. I'm just oh, God.
Well,
Just
though,
Jay.
I gotta say, no, I didn't hate them when they walked out of the thing. It's
I did.
because, like, yeah, but I already liked these actors,
Chris
so
is
like
committed
I was
to
already.
this, all right? Don't try to change his mind. He's committed.
No, it's cool. I just wonder if I'm the only one, and I am, and that's fine. I'm not going to change my opinion.
No, it's fine.
I like the
but,
actors.
like,
Jay.
it's not like I.
Yeah, Jay, the acting's great. Like, they're good.
No. What I'm saying is, I already was feeling first time ever. I was already feeling good because of who they were. Mm-hmm. So like, I'm not gonna like be in a bad rough personally. I'm not gonna be in a bad mood like looking at them going Urgh! Like it was when they started to do other things, just all the things that they decided to start doing like that made you like annoyed like, I always want to say Judd Nelson, who's a complete. In this movie, the character is a total douche. He's cheating constantly on Ali Sheedy, and it's a whole thing where like, oh, I need to marry her, then I'll be faithful. It's like the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
I think was it also because he considered her property? Like if he married her, then she's property.
Yeah, right? I think that was a subtle undertone, but I think it was there, especially when the two guys were fighting for her.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm not a piece of property. Right. I'll make the decision.
Right. And good for her. But guys, okay, again, they graduated. Are we talking 4 months later when all this shit starts to go down? I heard the number 4 months. Is that true?
I don't know. I feel like it was like a lot longer. And for me, when I saw them coming out of the college, it wasn't like I hated them, but I didn't want to watch it. Like I really regretted. I just did not want to watch this movie for some reason. I just kept thinking this is going to be the most boringest, dumbest movie ever. And I don't know why I thought of that because I'd never ever seen it before, but I just kept thinking I am going to hate this movie. It's going to be the most boringest, stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I love these actors like you wouldn't believe. Like that was the one thing that I loved seeing is I love every single one of them. I couldn't wait to see them because I love them so much, but I did not want to watch this movie. And just watching them come out of this, I just wanted to hit the remote control and go, fast forward. Fast forward. I was like, just get to whatever you're going to get to because I know this movie's going to suck and I just want to get it over with. I don't know why I had this in my head, but I did. I just really regretted watching it. And I said to my mom, do you want to watch this movie? She's like, no. And then I said to my husband, will you please watch this movie? He's like, no, I'm not watching this. And I'm like, damn it, nobody would watch it. So like I was watching it like super late last night. After I got to work, I was watching it late, but I wanted to hit the fast forward button every 30 seconds. When you can fast forward it for like 30 seconds, I just want to do like
I did that
thing. Like, I don't know. And then I stopped doing that and I started really watching it because I really like the actors, but I just did not want to watch it.
All right. Listen, obviously a lot of them are bad people, but Wendy is not. I wouldn't say she's a bad
fine.
person.
Yeah,
they all represented something. She was purity, she was.
Yeah, she wasn't a bad person.
Yeah,
and I wouldn't put
they're not
Andrew
bad
McCarthy
people.
as really as somebody who's bad.
No.
He was
characters. Even Kirby, as creepy as Kirby was, Kirby. He was. I think deep down they were all good. Rob. Jesus. Yes, thank you, Rob Lowe.
No, Jesus is
was
not
a
in
good
this
guy
movie.
deep down inside. He was.
Oh no.
I think they were all decent.
Yeah.
No, there's good there.
Yeah.
You got to really scratch deep to find it sometimes, especially with a guy that's the girl saying I don't want to do anything, and he's hiding her keys in his pants.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. In front of the house. I didn't even realize where they were. In front of the house that is his ex-wife.
Yeah.
Like and the baby, and he just said, "I will stop messing around and I will stop drinking." It's like he gets up. Sorry.
Yeah. Or when the girl, his friend, says, "I'm a virgin," the first thing he's doing is trying to go all over the place, and he's, what is this, scuba diving like clothing, like, you know, like, and she gets all embarrassed.
Oh, wetsuit, yeah.
Points up, yeah, like, I mean, he did some pretty disgusting things. Even with her at the very end, when all he was fascinated was like, why didn't you tell me you were a virgin? Then I feel like that's all he ever wanted to do. Like, I mean, like, he wouldn't leave her alone about it. And even at the very end, like, he's trying to redeem himself in some way, but that's his goodbye gift that he wants, is for her to sleep with him and lose her virginity towards him. I just thought that was horrible that he, like, that, like, it just seems like he was trying to redeem himself and prove that he's like a good person. And I'm sorry, did I overstep our boundaries and blah, blah, blah. And then at the very end, he's like, can I ask for a goodbye, going away present? Like, that's so, I just thought that was just so rude. Gross. And of course she's in love with him. Like, I just thought it was horrible. Like, I can't believe I just thought that was like horrible. And they made it seem like it was like this really romantic part. That's not romantic. He's trying to get a virgin to sleep with him before he leaves. And I didn't think that was romantic in any way at all. I thought that was a pretty shitty thing that he was doing. Like,
right. Her virginity.
Him, and I just think that's horrible. I don't know.
I think Rob really loved her. Billy, we'll go with his character name. I think he really loved her, just didn't know how to love. He didn't know how to love. And yes, they were close friends, but I think she was the best thing he's ever had. Everything else has been an issue. Even his wife was, you know, she was a little on the edge as well. This was the most stable he could be with somebody, and he didn't know how to handle that.
So, Ray, here's the thing. What you just said is fantastic characterization of that character. That's what they're going for. But the execution is fucking miserable. That's what I'm getting at.
It's
miserable.
I get that.
Because
I do.
The moment we see him, I want to strangle him. He's wasted on the back of an ambulance playing a fucking saxophone with his mullet and his collar popped. First of all, no cop is going to allow that. Second of all, he's just a dirtbag, and what he says to Demi Moore is horrible. What he says to other people is horrible. I understand that they're all damaged goods. I get that. I'm okay with characters being damaged goods. That's actually really compelling. Characters that are damaged goods that are trying to put up a front that they're not damaged goods. But the fact of the matter is the execution is terrible, and I never like him, but don't give a shit. Like, at some point he says, and again, I'm getting agitated. I'm just saying, like, what that's what makes me mad, kind of, sort of. Not mad, but like what you said is absolutely perfect, but the way they execute it makes me not want to like him or anyone in this movie that's damaged goods, because the execution makes him look terrible. And granted, they all try to grow up, but I don't give a fuck at that point because I don't like them.
And I don't think there's any resolution either. Even when he leaves at the end, it's like, hey, screw all you. I'm going to try to become something in New York. I think that's where he went. New York. But I don't think there was any real resolution. You know, they all had their issues, but there was never any definite resolution to their issues and then becoming better people. There needs to be a part 2 where they deal with and become better people.
He didn't even care about his baby. He didn't care about his baby at all.
Well,
it wasn't even just the ex-wife. He could care less about the baby. At the very end, he was like, oh, I was trying to be like I was trying to think maybe I could be like a weekend dad, but that's not what she needs. That's not fair to her. She needs more. No, you're fucking taking the easy way out is what you're doing. You don't want anything to do with parenthood. You don't want to be a dad to this kid in any way. You wish she was never born, most likely. You just want to have her go with some other guy. She can still get married, his ex-wife, and this guy can still take care of her and the kid, but he can still be part of her life. Maybe on the weekends or whatever, but that's not confusing to a kid. That's not confusing to a kid to have a parent with someone else and to still have her real dad, you know, or her biological dad, I should say, on the side that still wants to see her. He just doesn't want any part of it because he doesn't want the responsibility, and he's an asshole. He's a very cute
asshole.
We're all assholes at
22. We're all assholes at 22, 23 years old.
Granted,
but that's horrible. That he doesn't want anything to do with his kid at all. I thought that was so sad. I really did.
And I gotta say that all of their problems, whether all deep seated and almost they have a good foundation. The fact of the matter is, these are the foibles. These are the problems of privileged children who graduated college and now suddenly they don't know what to do with themselves. And I'm sorry, I have a problem like feeling bad for people that are obviously coming from a place from privilege. They've been handed everything for so long that now suddenly they're on their own. They don't know what to do. I don't give a fuck about that. Sorry, that's part of life. You have to figure it out. And like, oh no, life was so much easier before I got into Georgetown. Again, you go to Georgetown so you make connections with important people in the District of Columbia. That's why you go to Georgetown. If you're not employed, you've got a problem. Then you're a douchebag because
but they do have problems, don't they? I think they spent most of their time partying, not networking. Okay. They had their little clan. They went out on weekends. They went to the vineyard, whatever the case is.
Two of them were very responsible. What's his name? Ali Sheedy and Judd. What's his name? They had real careers. They were responsible.
But he was only an intern, though. He was an intern trying to get a job. So at least he was going in that direction.
He was trying. It seemed like they were like going in the right direction.
Yeah.
But
and then
I mean, what the hell did everybody else really do? Well, Demi Moore had some sort of a high-end job, but I don't think that's where she was getting all of her money from. Like, she was just spending too much of it. Like,
she came from money.
Yeah, she must. Yeah, she just. I don't know. And I love Demi Moore, but I think her acting could have been better in it. And I love her so much. I hate to say that.
That was her first gig besides General Hospital, so she was fresh.
She was fresh.
And then Wendy was a social worker, which is something she really believed in. So and she came from a rich family as well. So she's moving in the right direction. No, Kirby's the only one.
Yeah.
That is, he's stuck in being a waiter and stalking. I mean, maybe that's a career. I don't know.
I don't think she was a social worker because she was literally sitting at a desk giving people out welfare checks. That's not what a social worker does.
Well, she was trying to get jobs for those people, and the woman's like, just give me my money. Just give me my money.
Yeah.
How about Judd Nelson completely switching parties just because he's going to get more money.
Right.
No, but think about it. Like, I don't want to go down a political road. I'll just say it's just kind of weird how, like, okay, you know what? All my ideology out the fucking window. I'll see you later.
Also, guys, I mean, not for nothing.
I now pray to a different God.
Other people in politicians that have done the same thing.
He's 22 or 23, and suddenly he's got a giant oak office with support staff. Get the fuck out of here! Like you can't. That's not what. Come on, did you see his office?
When did that happen? I don't remember.
That's what I mean.
What?
Get the fuck out of here. No. Sorry.
What are you talking about?
Judd Nelson. No, Judd
We're
Nelson.
Lost. I think your description just went over everyone's head.
Judd Nelson is working for the Republican senator, and he's got like an office. It's like all oak, and he's got people like making phone calls for him. Like, you're 23. What are you talking? That doesn't have. You can't get that office at 23.
Wasn't that the senator's office, though? And he was an intern for the senator, and he was trying
The senator is not going to allow you to sit at his desk.
Well, probably not. No, you're right.
Thank you. That's all I'm getting at. Andie MacDowell sucks in this movie, by the way.
Oh, God.
She's a horrible actor in this movie. She's not good. She's got the range of a Daisy air rifle. She says the same things the same way all the time. Oh, she's horrible.
Well,
I will say this. This is part of the trivia. I can just cross it out. She credits this film for changing her life and her career.
Okay, she got more because of it. Yeah.
Okay.
But you're right. I think out of everybody in this movie, as far as acting goes, she was the driest.
Yes.
And probably one of the worst for leading Kirby on. Like, why did she go to that friggin' dinner with him just to stand him up? Oh, maybe we'll do it again some other time, Kirby.
Yeah.
And this poor guy's sitting there for 2 hours, got the right table, and, obviously has a crush on her. And I think she was one of the worst people in this movie. One of the worst characters.
I kind of feel like she was too nice to him. And I feel like he's not just a stalker and he's freaking crazy, but he's a goddamn angry stalker. I mean, he's literally like, where is she? Get her on the phone. Why is she? I'm throwing this. Right. The way he was freaking the hell out. And he was angry and he was freaking crazy.
Come on, Jay.
Goddamn crazy. No. And she was way too nice when he went up to that cabin and they were like, and the boyfriend was like, let me take a picture. Oh, let me give you some pajamas. Bullshit, he's a fucking maniac. He's the next goddamn serial killer. I mean, that's something seriously wrong in this guy's head, the way he was acting. This is not a good thing. This is something that definitely wouldn't stand up in movies today because these are some red flags, people. This is not good. He's not going to
my whole
angry ass stalker. Go ahead,
my whole
Jay.
thing was no, it's we. Like I didn't get the same angle that Ray was taking with her like standing him up. Like I
feel like she was too nice.
When she got the phone call, I didn't buy it as like her like. Did you believe it was real? Because it really just happened.
Oh, I think it was real, absolutely. But she shouldn't have gone to that dinner in the first place, or that lunch, or whatever it was.
But a dinner doesn't mean that they're locked in. All right, so what I'm saying is
she can sense a crush from another guy, or she's oblivious to life in general.
But then
I don't know.
Then he followed her from where she lived to where she was going. Like and by the way, I just want to know if it looks good, right? He follows her. He's on a bicycle, so he's getting poured on in the rain. He follows her. She doesn't know that. Then and then he stares into the window at the party that he has no idea what party it is, whose party it is. Mm-hmm. He's in the window outside. If anybody caught him just staring in the window, that would already look bad. Yep. No. Then he makes himself public, goes into the thing, and they're showing just the camera. They're showing the camera angle from his eyes. Yeah. Right, so he's walking in, and I always have subtitles on because I never want to try to figure out what someone just said because I hate that. Like, what did they say? And then I got to rewind it. I see it right there. There it is, and it says Kirby breathing heavy. Right, so right. So as he's coming in, he's like, no, but he's like,
yeah.
Like it's like, dude, what?
That was little Michael Myers in the beginning of Halloween.
Yeah.
Right, but he shows up. She's like, "What are you doing here?" He's like, "What's going on?" He's like, "A little obsessed, actually." And then she brings him home.
Yeah,
he might as well just have a freaking knife in his hand. Everyone's looking at him like crazy. He looks like a freaking psychopath.
He was angry, right? And it's like, holy shit. I mean, I don't remember a lot of. And then a little later. When she's, I don't know, we could be skipping some shit, but when she's she goes out to the ski cabin, and
hold on, this is probably after he threatened the roommate like bodily harm.
Yeah.
So
the other thing.
Oh my God,
is also right. he gets a job at the Korean guys.
Oh yeah, the mansion there.
Right. So like he gets a job there, and he says, "I'm gonna have a party there. Maybe you can come by." Now, did she? Forgive me, but did she say I'll absolutely be there?
No, she said maybe I'll try. She didn't even look like.
Okay, that's not very committal.
It was like, maybe I'll try, instead of, hey, you know what, this has gone on too far.
You know what? People read that maybe I'll try means I'm not interested, guys. We're just trying to be nice.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So regardless,
Melanie, we are oblivious. Just so you know, right? We're really oblivious.
No, but it wasn't absolutely, I'm there, I'll be the first, like it wasn't concrete. Right. So then he's there doing an emergency breakthrough, which is a 1980s thing. Like you get a call like the, call the person on, because on the landline, you call the operator, please break through, I need to talk to this person. He's doing an emergency breakthrough and he starts yelling at the is it the roommate on the phone or whatever? Or he didn't even get through.
The house.
Then he goes to the house,
and she's upstairs in the
follows,
window.
Yeah.
And when
she says he's up in the mountains
he does
skiing.
say something like,
but he says, if you don't let me in, if you don't tell me where Dale is right now, I can't be held responsible for what I'm going to do to you.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's not dangerous. That's not, you know what? We should root for this guy. Mm-hmm. We should root for him, right?
Future serial killer. Okay, that's a future serial killer.
And then
stalking turns into killing, turns into serial stalking, turns into serial killers.
The pattern.
It's a freaking pattern.
Then he goes to the mountains. Like it's not next door, because there's snow everywhere. Yep. There was no snow where he left. Right?
Yeah.
Probably West Virginia.
Right. So he goes all the way over there, up until he doesn't know anything. He doesn't know the boyfriend. He doesn't know anything. Like he's acting as if he had all the rights in the world. Starts beating on the door, like, let me in. What's her name here? And she opens the door and is barely taken aback by the fact that he's that pissed.
Oh, Kirby.
And like,
you're here.
Yeah, like, hi. Like, what? Wow, what are you doing here? and then he like.
Okay, I want to say something. The way that they treat him, which was way too nice. the way that they're treating him is, and I'm not going to say this because it's really not, okay, I'm going to say it, but it's not the same thing. But if you remember Goonies, not the same thing. I'm already saying that. But remember how the little kid had a crush on the older girl that liked, you know, his older brother? They're treating him like he's a little kid. They're treating him like this is a 15-year-old kid. We have to be nice to him. Here, have a pair of pajamas, and he's going to throw it on the floor. You know what I mean? Like, come on in. You're going to freeze to death in the car, you poor little kid. We know that you're just a kid and you have a crush on her. Come on in and we'll take care of you. This is not a kid. This is an adult. He's not 15 years old. He's a goddamn stalker. He's an angry stalker. You need to watch out for this guy. The next thing you know, he's going to kill the guy in his sleep so he can grab the girl and run off with her somewhere. I mean, this is not a little child. Like, they're treating him like a freaking child.
Yeah, do you think they slept in shifts that night? Just in case?
No, because you know what? They were so chill.
Let's have a knife under our pillow just in case he decides to go a little crazy.
No. I know you're joking, but like they were too chill. They were so relaxed. Like he was like, "Hey man, you're like no problem. Like no, you're gonna freeze. Come on in."
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Come on, we're gonna go to bed." And then
Let
hold
me go
on,
get my
I'll be right back.
Take a picture
My
of you
camera.
guys
I want to take a
together.
picture of you too, right?
And then he still kisses her without consent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and her hands go up.
She liked it. I mean, it's weird, right?
Her hands go up and grab around.
Yeah. You bring up a point, and that's how disrespectful this movie is to women. Yeah. Because they don't give her enough chutzpah, enough character to say, "Get the fuck off of me, you weirdo." Yeah. Like, and she's like, "Oh no, he's very assertive. I really like that." They have no respect for Demi Moore, even though she's a hot mess. They have no respect for Demi Moore. They have no respect for the virginal character. They have no respect for Ali Sheedy, except Ali Sheedy does actually assert herself positively by the end of the movie. It's got no respect for women at all. They're just like, oh, you know, if as long as he's cute and young and assertive, then she'll dig it, kinda. Even though as he drives away, laughs about it, which I don't understand. Oh.
Even the voice of reason, even the voice of reason was a hooker.
Yes,
like they couldn't even make her. They had to make her a hooker.
Yeah. No respect. No respect. They are not of their own
He's
devices.
driving away.
Oh, I fucking hated that part. I'm like,
you're making me hate this movie.
You didn't
come on in, Ray. The water's warm.
Welcome to the Killer Clowns from Outer Space Land. All right.
No, but listen. He drives away angry. I mean, he drives away laughing hysterically, like he just like won something. Like, you know, he's giggling like, haha, I kissed her and her hands went around my head. Like, you're like, I got it. You know, like, and like the way he laughs, we all like him, the actor.
Yes.
And we've seen him act like that before. And so it's a familiar sound. Mm-hmm. And I bet you a lot of people like in the theater probably walked away like thinking, all right, cool, man. Like, good for you. All right. And then like, someday. But probably not like realizing that they shouldn't be.
I did not realize. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was funny. I thought it was cute back then. Even the last time I watched it, which was a few years ago, it wasn't until this time around I'm like, there's something really wrong here. And you know what it was? It was really the Me Too movement that made me realize, yeah, this is absolutely wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So not to get too deep and political and all that, but I didn't see it. I didn't think there was any charm whatsoever, and it did hurt the movie a little bit. Mm-hmm. I mean, I have close friends from college, so I connected to that movie. I had no political aspirations or anything on the horizon when I graduated junior college, so I can't relate from that point on. But it has been a movie that's always stuck with me over the years. We'll get to that stuff later, but over the years it has kind of dwindled a bit. But I love all the actors. I think.
And that's the thing. Like, even when Demi Moore, so again, old fart man's gonna come out here, and it's like, Demi Moore at the end when she's having her crisis, we finally find out the truth that Demi hasn't been doing anything, and that she's run out of money, and that she's basically lying about her existence because she identifies her success with her job, even though she can't actually keep a job because she's not responsible yet. And it's like, even while she was giving her wah-wah speech under the blanket trying to freeze herself to death, what?
I thought that was the dumbest thing ever.
That's not a
he
thing.
Was like,
You're not just.
He was like, he's like, the other one says you're going to freeze, and the other one goes, I think that's the point. So that's what her point is. She's just going to sit there in a t-shirt and then try to freeze. That's her point.
And that's what I mean. Even in the
you know how long that would take.
Yeah.
Of course it would. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely when they have access. These young people have access to so many drugs, and you're gonna freeze yourself to death.
Right,
Stop.
exactly.
Stop it.
How about this? Jules,
I was thinking the same
stop
thing.
rocking back and forth.
Pills or something.
No, but like she's rocking back and forth, right? And it's like, no, you're only making yourself warm. This is going to take a lot longer if you keep rocking.
No,
if you're going to freeze to death.
At least 4 days to freeze to death that way.
The fact that they had to break in so quickly, like if we don't get to her in the next 5 minutes, she will die from sitting on the floor.
Right. Yes. It was like, I could understand if she had taken a handful of pills and they were like, we've got to get to her immediately. Everybody came together. Rob Lowe had to get his truck and freaking come from nowhere. What's his face had to come. Like, it was an emergency and everyone had to get together. Even the two guys that are like trying to hang each other off the balcony, they all had to get together to come together to save this girl from sitting on the freaking floor. She did not take a handful of pills that you have to rush her to the hospital and break it. She's just sitting there. Thinking about her life.
Even Ron, the neighbor, got in on the action.
She might as well just be reading a book with the windows open.
Guys, I didn't realize,
take
like
a cold
sometimes
shower and stand in front of the window, like just sitting
She's
there
not
with a
even on the
blanket.
balcony or anything.
She's
She's
got a
just
blanket.
sitting in the living room.
Oh fuck.
I didn't. It's funny. Like sometimes you see somebody out of context and you don't go, "Hey, that's so and so." I didn't realize the next door neighbor was Sal from Eddie and the Cruisers.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
And he's a twin, I believe.
He's a twin.
Oh, really?
It's two of them. They act.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's not the same guy in every movie you've seen him in.
Oh, good.
Oh, wow, really?
Oh, wow, all right.
No, but, I mean,
or a different guy shows up at the set today.
Yeah.
They're playing
guys,
jokes.
But my point was that even in that moment where she's like, "Oh, boo-hoo, like your life sucks," oh, and you're gonna freeze yourself to death, which is the most ridiculous fucking thing ever. Like I was in the acting was fine. I recognized Demi Moore as being a person in crisis. Even though she was making more of it than it actually was, I recognized that she was in crisis, and I felt what she was going for. And even Rob Lowe coming in to talk to her, even though they both recognize that they are both a hot mess in one way or another, and he's going to try to do his thing. And there's that iconic moment. I don't know if it's iconic, but you see it on clip shows of him doing the thing with the lighter.
That was like the whole trailer when I was growing up. That's right. And I thought that was going to last the whole movie when I first saw it. Like, that is so cool. Half a second.
Right.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about now with the spray, the hairspray.
And he brings up the analogy of St. Elmo's Fire. And I got to tell you guys, like, it's a loose analogy. And he says, it's kind of like pause for tagline from movie. It's almost like St. Elmo's Fire. And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. And then he says it, and a very loose connection to her life. Like, it's almost like somebody said, hey, we've got this movie. I want to call it St. Elmo's Fire. Great. What are you going to write about? Not sure, but eventually by the end, we're going to say St. Elmo's Fire. It's going to mean something.
I know. I was like, why do they have to put that in there?
He was trying to make a loose connection, but it didn't make any fucking sense at that point.
The bar was St. Elmo's.
I know that.
Well,
okay. So, but do you think that Rob?
But St. Elmo's Fire, he's saying that it's the St. Elmo's Fire and his illusion that would draw sailors to safety, and her problems are an illusion. What does that even mean?
Because as soon as they started hanging out at St. Elmo's, one of them thought, there's a legend behind this, and someday I'm going to be able to use that. So they memorized it, and then Rob Lowe's like, perfect time for me to do my St. Elmo's. He even sat at home and did that.
More whiskey. Sure. More whiskey, Ray. More whiskey. Holy shit.
Chris.
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
Sometimes you bring problems to the table, and I want to say that they remind me of Stonehenge. No, I'm just like I'm just saying like some weird thing that makes no sense whatsoever. It reminds me of all these blocks of stone that are all stacked together.
Somebody ought to tell the writers, like, just because it sounds poetic doesn't mean it is.
Yeah.
Like, get the fuck out of here with this. Like, God.
Yeah.
Woe is me. Like, pull up your big boy panties, figure it out, go move on. This didn't work. Try something else. I'm sorry. Now it's all like.
Well, first of all, I was wondering why Demi Moore lost all of her money anyway, because wasn't she rich to begin with? She was acting like she was like.
She had
her
stepmother.
freaking clothes were the 80th clothes I've ever seen in my life, and the earrings and the dresses and everything that she was wearing. Like, she was acting like she was super rich. And you said she came from money, so why is she so poor all of a sudden? Even if she lost her job, how did somebody get in her house to be able to take her freaking wall art that was painted on the wall off the wall? I don't understand that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was a light fixture that actually worked and a painting on the wall. How does that disappear in like 2 seconds? How are you going to do that?
Well, the Grinch came by and took all the decorations, including the roast beast.
Well, it was all credit. It was all credit. They repossessed it. She talks throughout the movie about her stepmother, her evil stepmother. She has a nickname for her.
The step
But that
monster.
was painted on, and it was a freaking light in the
whatever
wall.
it was. But I think she was hoping that she was going to get the inheritance from her stepmother, but her stepmother wouldn't give her the money. So at that point, it's like, I'm never going to be rich. I'm not going to get my stepmother's. She was waiting for her to die. I think that was the whole thing. And
or you could work.
Monster.
And
Right.
Well, you
invest
could work
and save your money.
Yeah, again, when you're a kid, at that age, out of college.
Yeah, and
A kid,
rich
she's
family.
freaking 23 years old, and she has a college
No, but you know what?
education.
You guys, how
growing
old
up,
were you
though-
at 23? How old were all you guys at
23.
23?
I wasn't privileged enough to have that awesome college education
No, but-
that they had. I would like to have thought that I would make myself something after myself after getting
But
that
not
college
everyone's
education.
like that. I don't know. I think it represented a
Melanie-
population that isn't so inclined to go out and work 50 hours at 22 years old. I don't know. I mean,
I
don't
But Ray,
know.
my point is that I think most of the movie-going audience of 1985 is not these 7 people. That's why I think a lot of people get aggravated with it. It's just, they're not the demographic. Who gives a shit about it?
No,
That's
and
all.
listen, like they had these. I wasn't brought up with this privilege that they had. They had this college education. I did not get to have that. I got into Fidelity Investments when other people that went to college couldn't get in there, and I worked over 40 hours a week, full time, in a freaking cubicle. I pushed myself into that position without a goddamn college education, and they have college educations, and one's working at it. He's wearing this weird outfit working at this bar, and like other ones don't have jobs. I mean, like, come on, like
there's also 60-year-old waiters and waitresses out there, though.
I know,
True.
but like he went to college in this amazing place. You think that he could have like
Maybe he had to pay his tuition back. I mean,
well, he
maybe-
said he was.
He
I
could've
think he was
tried
studying
a
for the
little
bar
harder.
at that point,
I
right?
know.
And he said-
Of course, we could all try
he also
harder,
has
but
a
not all of
roommate.
us
He has a
do.
roommate helping him to pay money. I didn't have that either. Like,
Right.
I think
you know
it's
what,
just. I think what sours with me is everybody was so woe is me. I think that's the thing.
Because it's the end of the world when you're 23 years old. Everything's
know
the end
it.
of the world.
And I agree, because when you're young, everything is the end of the world, because you literally, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to you when you're young.
Yeah.
Until you realize you get older and like, oh, that wasn't so bad. I
Right.
tell
First
teenage
love,
students
all that, like relationships.
100%. You don't have any perspective, and I can't fault them for that. It doesn't mean that it makes it any compelling.
No, they're
to
all
watch.
assholes. You're right. They're all assholes.
but some of
But
them
the
don't
world
have
is
jobs
full of
at all.
assholes.
And, I mean,
That's true.
a lot of them don't have jobs. They're doing drugs. It's like, it's not all of them. Some people are doing some good stuff, but most of them are like just wasting their life away with drugs and not even, I mean, I don't know. I just, like you said, I don't have like sympathy for, I have sympathy for people who have addiction, but I don't have sympathy for people like in this movie that are totally rich and they just don't give a shit.
Right.
Like,
I don't
it's,
know. I don't,
No, but you
I
know
don't
what?
I don't know where the rich thing comes. I don't know if they're all rich. I don't think they are.
how
I
they
don't see
get in,
them
I
as
don't know. I mean, you have to
How they
pay
get
for
in?
college
I don't know. They
education
got
like
they
that,
get
like too, like
scholarships,
hard
or
to
they.
get in.
Or,
I mean,
well,
yeah,
I don't know.
maybe. I don't know. They remind
You know what,
me
though?
of people who came from a good background for some reason.
And,
I
that,
don't
and
know.
Melanie,
Well-
and wait a minute, I'm going to sit on that, because Ray might be right, and I'm not disagreeing with Ray's point. Like, who knows? Maybe they had scholarships. Maybe they worked really hard. Maybe they so on and so forth.
Took out loans.
But whatever, and that's
yeah,
legit.
But they still
That
get
is
in. I'll agree with that.
100%. Unfortunately, I have to agree with Melanie, because they come across as privileged.
Spoiled brats.
That's how we
Andrew
feel
McCarthy
as
is
an
just a writer. He's just a little writer who, and Kirby is, what's he
Yeah,
going to
he's
do?
kind of decent. He's not. Yeah, he's a decent guy. I think he's pretty decent out of all of them, really.
Wendy's a social worker. That's not much.
Yeah, I think Ali Sheedy and Jed Nelson, as crappy as he can be, they're trying. I mean, I don't know. I guess shit happens. Like I said, I've been through shit too, but I just kind of felt like they were just a little bit spoiled and bitchy about whining about like nothing. It was a movie about nothing.
I've been trying for a little while.
Yeah, go ahead, Jay.
To crack through this little nut here, that's like, you know, like we've had this like a big argument that I couldn't. I was like, and you know what?
Sorry, Jay.
No. I just wanted to let you know. I was like, I don't want to forget this point because it's along with 5 minutes ago. Ray was saying something about, and you guys were talking about Demi Moore being rich, right? And like, you know, like, and then Chris goes, "Oh, she could work," right? Yeah. But I'll say this, and I can't relate in any way, shape, or form to what Demi Moore was going through. But I bet you anything, when you grow up with a silver spoon in your mouth, you can not let it go so easily, and you think everything has to be this way. Sure. Like, for instance, I'm going to give a real life story that I heard. I read about it, and I was like, wow, there you go. Back when we couldn't get Paris Hilton off of our TV and our magazines or whatever, she just wouldn't go away. There was one time she was really like, out of control. She was doing this, she was doing that. You never not heard from her. And then finally she got it was like DWI, and she's like in court, and the guy, I think this was maybe like her second offense or something. I don't know. The court, the judge goes, "No, you're gonna go to jail for a little while." And she turned and went, "Daddy," or "Mommy," like she actually cried for her parents, and it's like, well, there you go. Mm-hmm. It's like, you know what I mean? Like you've been bailed out so fucking much in your life that you don't know how to not like say, "Come on, fix it." Yeah. So I would say that's probably what's going on with Demi Moore, is that like she, you could say go ahead and try and go to work, but this person probably has never had it where it's like, that's the thing to do, because it's like, hold on, I just reach out.
Yeah,
and the money disappears.
You've got room and board because you're living in apartments with friends or in the dorms. They're feeding you. Every Friday night's a party. You're hanging out at the bar, and then all of a sudden it's like, now go work. It's like, whoa, can't we do another year of school? That was fun. Billy wanted that. He wanted the endless school. So there was that.
Yeah, he wanted to go back.
I always remember working. Always, my entire life. I just always.
It took me a long time to get on track.
Yeah. Oh, me too. And that's why, again, we're not like, let me.
I mean, I partied, let me tell you, like crazy, but I worked at the same time. I mean, you go to work in the same clothes you had on the night before.
I worked, but it was bartending. It was Kirby type work.
Yeah.
So
without the stocking.
It's not yes, the stalking.
I was just assuming. I'm just assuming.
And again, and to Jay's point too, like my wife and I got a gift certificate from her daughter because of how we were involved with her daughter's wedding. Whatever, but she gave us a gift certificate. And it was this place called the Ocean House. The Ocean House is if you've heard of it, it's very, 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 very swank, like hotel right basically where Taylor Swift hangs out, like that sort of thing, right? So she gave us a
in Rhode Island.
In Rhode Island, in Rhode Island, near, like Richmond, down by the sea. So like, you walk in, you're like, I don't belong here at all. Like this is not, I don't belong here. And not that anybody was mean, it's just like, I'm like, there are like, in the bathroom, there's no paper towels. They're all like folded napkins. You know what I mean? There's an attendant in the bathroom. Like, what is happening? All right. So, but it would be nice. So we went for brunch. So they got us a gift certificate for brunch. And it was like, again, waiters making quiches on hand, like all of this really swanks, people constantly fulfilling your mimosas. You could stay there all day. You're looking out at the ocean. And we're adults, and we appreciate the shit out of it. Because we'd never get into that place without a gift certificate. I can't go there. We rolled up in our 2008 Ford Explorer while people are rolling up in their Bentleys. Like, it's nuts. Like, we don't belong here, but it was great. But there were kids there that are like 8 having brunch at the Ocean House. Where do you go from there? You know what I mean?
Well,
and I'm not going to fault the 8-year-olds. They were nice. They weren't being bratty necessarily. But where do you go from there? And it doesn't mean, so when things don't go their way, how are they going to react to that? Which is maybe the point of this movie. Doesn't mean I have to agree, but I see where they're coming from. Where do you go from there? That's the vibe I was getting from these 7 people, except, that's definitely the vibe I was getting from these 7 people, regardless of whose parent we actually met. Like, they all had breakfast at the Ocean House when they were 8. Where do you go from there? Right? I don't know. That's just what I'm saying.
And most of the real world doesn't, no matter how old you, how you came up, rich, poor, whatever, the real world never looks like we think we know it as.
Right.
Until you actually get out there on your own and then realize, shit, this is tough. Well, maybe it's easy for some people. They get jobs right away, and but for a lot of us, it was tough. Not their problems, because I'm not from D.C. and I didn't go to Georgetown, so I couldn't necessarily relate to their issues. But there's a whole other set of issues that another group of 7 friends might have. That may have been a better movie if it was another set of friends. I want to, the kids that went to the community college. I want to see their story. That might be more entertaining.
I think so, raising kids, like when you were saying, Chris, raising kids when they're getting used to restaurants like that when they're little. To me, I would think that would, if you're kind of raised, I don't know, maybe to a higher standard than other people, maybe that I would think that you would not want less when you got older and maybe work a little bit harder to get to that point.
But if it's
That's
always
just how
handed
I
to
feel,
you.
But I don't know. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't, this is your standard. If you're raised,
but this goes back to Paris Hilton, who just looked at her parents and said, "Mommy and Daddy, help me out here."
You're right.
She did work harder.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I think
this got really deep.
It did. Yeah. Good for you, Ray.
Are we still talking about St. Elmo's Fire?
We are. I guess what I'm trying to do is reconcile why. Again, I'm not trying to seem like they're not, like you said, they're not in and of themselves bad people. Together, they're not great together.
No,
they
they're
should
not
really
bad people.
all go their separate ways. And I'm not saying they don't have intriguing stories, because they do. And I'm not saying that if they went to community college, and you can have the same set of issues with 7 people that went to community college. It could be the same thing. It's just that it's the delivery of it that makes me not want to identify with the 7 characters. And maybe I'm being snobby about snobby people. I don't know. Now, not that they're all snobby, because the social work is not snobby, but they all make terrible. I don't know. It's
also a movie about nothing.
Yes, that's the thing. What's the plot? I don't know.
There's no.
Well, what about you're not going, wow, that arc.
Yeah.
that arc was amazing.
Yeah.
They really.
I'll tell you what the arc was, and maybe I don't know where we are with this, but the arc is they all start at the bar, and then at the end of the movie, they're all about to go back into the bar, but they realize they have to go to work, so they'll go to brunch at a different bar, and that means you've grown up.
Yeah.
Too many kids in that one. Let's go to brunch or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So they do kind of redeem themselves in the end.
But it's not. It doesn't feel that good.
A different bar?
Right? It's a story about growing up.
It doesn't feel that good though.
No.
You should walk away feeling better about that. When it's over, when the credits start rolling.
Yeah.
All right,
But
good
Rob
for them.
Lowe
They
says he
learned.
doesn't.
Yeah. Rob Lowe, huh? He abandoned his kid. Hey, how about
he
that?
He doesn't grow up. He's escaping life, and he's going to go somewhere else where someone doesn't know him, so he can bet as many women as he can over there. So he's not.
So he can make it as a sax player.
He is.
Look, eventually he's gonna peddle Atkins. Eventually, he's gonna just fine.
But in the beginning of the movie, I thought he was with, what is that girl's name? Wendy, the one that.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the movie, I thought they were together, and then I was like, he's such an ass. He's cheating with her, she's standing right there, and he's like, hey, how you doing? How you doing? Just these other girls right here, and she's right there. I'm like, oh my God, I thought they were a couple. And then later on, he's on the stage, and he's like, get away from my wife. I'm like, hold up, what?
Yeah, very confusing.
He has a wife?
Yeah, he's got a wife.
I thought it was her. I thought they were together, and I thought that was the couple. I didn't know it was some other couple. He's got a lot of things going on.
Yeah, he's got a wife, but he's broken home, whatever, and he's with his friend from college. I think everybody's had like that friend, that connection where you're really close friends, but like really close friends. It's a complicated relationship.
Really
Yeah, it's complicated.
Yeah.
Well,
Life's complicated.
On that note, let's go to TMI.
Yep.
It's time for TMI with Melanie.
Listen to this. I am in the bathroom right before the movie starts. And I'm in the stall, and there's no toilet paper.
Mine are at home in a display case above my bed.
TMI, my friends.
TMI? Too much information. Don't go there, but that's lame.
Now, here's Melanie with your timeless movie info.
Okay. So the budget was $10 million. It grossed $37.8 million. One of the bars used in the film was torn down in Washington, D.C., with several of the cast members in attendance. St. Elmo's St. Elmo's Bar is based on the Tombs, a popular watering hole with Georgetown University students for the exterior shots, and a full street set was built in Universal Studios in Los Angeles. 2 or 3 buildings to the left is the Hill Valley Clock Tower from where the Back to the Future was in 1985. Columbia Pictures hated the title so much that they went so far to doing a 35-page memo listing all of their issues with the proposed title, suggesting such alternatives as The Real World and Sparks. So they wanted to change the title to either The Real World or Sparks.
Sparks?
Yeah. Then
right.
I don't know. They just hated the movie name. The name of the higher education campus that it's seen in the movie is Georgetown University. After reading the script, Georgetown University administrators refused to allow it to be filmed on campus. So the on-campus scenes were actually filmed in University of Maryland instead. No Georgetown University buildings appear in the film at all. Joel Schumacher, is it Schumacher, right?
Schumacher.
Joel Schumacher originally had felt that Rob Lowe was not going to be right for the part of Billy. Only after repeated phone calls from his agent and passionate speech about why he wanted to do the part, eventually did he actually get the job. Director Joel Schumacher, saw Demi Moore walk down the hallway near his office building and asked a colleague to run after her and find out if she was an actress. The production office at the time was in the same place that John Hughes' office was, and Moore had been waiting to go visit John Hughes for a casting call. Demi Moore came in on a motorcycle for her audition with the tag still on her clothes, and Rob Lowe walked into his audition with a six-pack of Corona. Much like her character, Demi Moore was actually really, at this time she was making this movie, she was completely hooked on cocaine. She had to go through rehab, and she had to promise to stay clean in order to play the character. She actually revealed in an autobiography later on that she had a huge cocaine problem and went into treatment for 15 days and then had a counselor with her while shooting this entire film. Emilio Estevez and Demi Moore were actually dating during the filming of this movie. He said that he was deeply in love with her, and they were engaged, but they were never married. The movie title, St. Elmo's Fire, which is the movie's song theme, St. Elmo's Fire, was a Man in Motion, was originally written for the disabled 3-time Paraplegic Games gold medalist, Canadian wheelchair athlete Rick Hansen, who was raising awareness on a promotional Man in Motion tour for spinal cord injuries at the time of this film being made. Oh, and the Booga Booga cheer, you know how they did that twice?
Oh, God.
Okay. They said that was actually not in the script. It was later in an interview that Rob Lowe said that the cheer came out of observing fans whispering about them during the filming of the movie and then laughing. So they said the cheer itself makes fun of what these whispered conversations sounded like from a few feet away.
Well, we don't like it either, so that's fine. Oh,
yeah,
God.
Weird. That was weird.
I'm so glad it only came up twice.
Yeah.
And just to show you that by the end of the movie, they say it again. They say it at the beginning when they're not grown up, and they say it at the end. It's the last thing you hear. So really, they grew up. They didn't. That's what I take away.
Well, no, it's too gradual. Like, they haven't gotten there yet.
Listen, I'm 51 years old. When I get together with my college friends, I have not grown up either.
Fair enough. I'm with you there. I'll give you that. I just want to back on the Ooga Booga moment.
By the way,
hated it.
I don't.
I had,
but I've always wondered what it was. So thank you, Melanie. I didn't know that's why they did that.
Yeah, they said it sounded like that, like the way that it just sounded like how people were talking about them laughing and stuff. So they just made up something that sounded like that.
I had heard that movie is the origin of the term Brat Pack because everybody was like kind of like so difficult, like like they were just way into their own heads at that point. Like it wasn't everybody talks about the John Hughes movies as Brat Pack films, and those are those actors, but that's not where it started. Like it didn't start early on. It was like it started with like the St. Elmo's Fire.
That makes sense. Yeah. They were all celebrities at that point.
And there was more of them in those movies than the other ones that, from John Hughes. All at one sitting, there was more of them in that one movie.
Boy.
It's time now for Final Judgment. Are you ready to rubber stamp this bitch? Here's the Final Judgment.
It's time for Final Judgment. It's a moment where we talk about how well this movie holds up today. It's no longer about opinion, but fact. Let's go with the angriest of us all, Chris.
Me. So it's well established that I don't like this movie. I'm going to tell you why it doesn't hold up. Okay, it does not hold up. Here's the reason. First of all, we seem very concerned about Andrew McCarthy's sexuality. When really nowadays, no one would give a shit at all. They just, hey, he's gay. No, I'm not. Okay. I understand why he was hiding it, because he was really in love with a woman, but still, there's that whole thing that just wouldn't be a thing. And second of all, here's why it doesn't hold up. Because nowadays, the problems of young people coming out of college are going to be different, so they could not identify, I think, as much with the problems of these kids. Not that we identified with it in 1985. And second of all, if they were having trouble making money, here's the thing. Gen Z, they're a gig culture. They'll just go drive an Uber. They'll go do some Instagram. They'll go try to get some content on YouTube, and they'll make money or they'll get involved in crypto and make money that way. So if they can't the thing with Gen X is we weren't sure what we were going to do with the rest of our lives. Whereas Gen Z is like, oh, that didn't work out. I'll just invest in crypto. Everything will be fine. I'll drive Uber. That'll be fine. And I can still do the things I want to do. So I don't think anybody's going to identify with the foibles of these people anymore. At least the way that it's presented. You'd have to make this movie differently you could still do the same idea, but it would have to be a completely different set of problems, which is now by definition not the same movie. So therefore, QED, it does not hold up. That's it. Next.
All right, Ray?
Ray.
I agree with Chris on everything he said. I still enjoy the movie, for the record. It's part of my youth when it comes to my my movie-going experiences, although I watched it on VHS, so I still love the movie. I think if you love the actors, you love the movie. If you grew up during that time, you love it. But Chris is right. Gen Z or Gen Xers are a lot different. Back then, we were expected to go to college, so we did. I did too. But for the most part, it was you going to college for 4 years, then you got to figure that shit out. And now it's questionable. Do you need a college degree? Can you just go work? So I think it's going to be different. I think there's a lot of movies that represent the friends now coming out of college. Most independent movies are a group of friends go to a cabin out in the woods and they discover each other and blah, blah, blah. So you can find those stories somewhere. This is a unique story for the time. But I think anybody who's going back and into the John Hughes movies, not that this is a John Hughes movie, but it's very similar in character. I think this is a must-watch for them, whether it holds up or not. I think this is to see where those characters went, how they aged, because it's a few years after high school. I think it holds up in that way. If you love the history of cinema, especially in the 80s, I think this is one that you should watch. The whole Kirby arc, we talked about arcs. There's an arc for you, the Kirby arc. Horrible. Just, it doesn't stand up today. That guy would be in jail. But for the most... I would say 60% of it doesn't hold up. 40% is still okay with me.
Fair enough.
All right.
Cool.
I want to go.
Melanie.
Okay. Coming from what Ray said, I am in love with everything 80s. I'm 49 years old. I'll be 50 next year. I grew up with all of these actors. I love them to pieces. I will never watch this movie ever again. Once is enough for me. It was, to me, the most boringest thing ever. So I do not think that it would hold up at all today, because anyone today, you would have to love these actors, like you said, though I agree, to actually want to watch this movie. So nowadays, all these kids growing up, they don't know who half of these people are. So they would not want to go watch it because they don't know who they are. So I think that if anybody actually likes this movie, it's because they loved the actors or they grew up in this time. It's going to be way too boring for the average person these days to go to this movie and be like, I don't even know who these people are in this movie. There's nothing going on, and it's just, there's nothing. I mean, I don't think it holds up in any way. And as far as college, I think back in those days, people just had to go to college, like you said, and they didn't really know exactly what they wanted to go to college for. So a lot of times people were getting out of college and they had these degrees that they didn't know what to do with, and they changed their mind later on and decided that they wanted to do something else. I know that it's like that everywhere because kids have to try to decide when they're at a younger age, what do I want to go to school for? How can you possibly decide what you want to go to school for when you're 17 years old? But at the same time, I feel like just as with my kids or other kids that I know in their age, I think they're kind of thinking about it a little bit harder nowadays. Like, okay, so I can get a job a little bit easier if I go for this. I don't know. I just feel like the kids these days it's not just being like, let me just go for a business education and not knowing exactly what I want to go to school for, and then not using that for some, and then getting out and not having to work. I feel like the kids are kind of thinking a little bit harder now about what they kind of want to do for a living, and if they don't want to, like, kind of leaving it open a little bit more broad. If maybe I'm going to go to school for this, and if I don't like this, then at least this education I can use to go for this, and it's not just wasted. I think a long time ago people were just like, whatever, I'm forced to go to college, I'll just go to school for something I don't really want to go to school for, just to say
it costs $1 million now.
Yeah, so you're thinking about it a little bit more. But at the same time, like I said, unless you love these actors like I do and you grew up in this time like I do, I don't think that you would like this. But saying that, I love these actors and I grew up in this time and did not like this movie. I didn't grow up with watching the movie, so it doesn't have a special place in my heart. I'm watching it now as a 49-year-old, even though the only thing I liked about it was seeing these actors, and I love them. But the movie sucked. I'm sorry. It doesn't hold up.
You don't have to be sorry.
For everybody.
It's okay.
I think we're all,
the actors,
for the most part.
There's nothing going on.
I think we're all okay.
All right, give it up for Joel Schumacher, though. I think it was well shot, and it was probably a cinematographer. But I think it was a beautiful film to watch.
It doesn't look old. Yeah.
Yeah, yes, but written very oddly. Like,
filming
very oddly written.
Writing could have been a little better, I think.
Yeah.
Like like I said, the whole Kirby thing with Emilio Estevez, like he was so angry, and then he was received as such a like that's a puzzle. like she was so chill about him, like. Oh, I mean, listen, you don't have to, like Melanie said, like he's a child.
Yeah.
You don't have to. I know you like me. I know.
That's what it was like. Camera.
You don't really want to be with me. I'm a slob. It was really odd. So, like, there was stuff like, hey, let me take a picture of the two of you. But that being said, Chris, I did find something that you should at least appreciate about this film.
Yeah.
And that is a song called This Time It Was Really Right. When they were at the party, at that guy Kim's house, you walk in and you hear John Anderson. John Anderson was singing a song that was written by him and David Foster. David Foster wrote every song partially on this album. So John Anderson is permanently a part of this train wreck.
He's also a movie legend, but with Tangerine Dream, so...
Right.
Boy. Okay.
So, no, listen, I'm not going to rehash everybody else's point because I agree with them all. So there's a lot of it that just doesn't hold up. It doesn't, like I said, this meant nothing to me other than by the way, I love that song. Like I said, The Man in Motion, John Parr. The video, though, I'll still watch it from time to time. It's really cringy towards the end because he starts to sing along with the cast members, and they're just standing there going, "Yeah, I'm just doing this because I have to."
Yeah.
Does Rob Lowe have a saxophone in that video?
I don't know. I don't think so. They're just sort of standing around and he's like singing the lines to them, and they're like,
terrible.
Yeah, let's walk along with
I have
John
to play
Parr.
that song a couple times a week on my radio station. That's like
really,
yeah.
I love it.
And we never mentioned how really quick how creepy Billy was with his band. And like at one point he stops and he goes, "Let's rock!" And I thought that was the stupidest line ever for a rock band to say.
Yeah. And when he started clapping his hands to everybody, it just looked so 80ish and cheesy. I don't know.
Dude, yes, you said it. He shakes his sweat onto a girl that's in the front row, right? And then and then what she does is she's like, oh, I just got sweated on. Okay, but he's adorable. It's from him. So I guess I won't be so mad.
It was Billy from the corner bar.
Billy that nobody knows.
Right. Okay, but I have to say, I mean, you guys can't deny that Rob Lowe is a very, very good-looking guy, and he still is.
Oh, sure. We covered that during class. Chris and I did the movie Class, and I talked about the guy's like a drawing.
Yeah.
I was like, it must have sucked growing up looking like that.
Great,
you know what I mean? It must be so difficult. Life just must come at you so hard when you look that good
all the time.
Yeah.
Gee.
Holy
I
crap.
can do hours just to look like this to be this handsome. So.
Demi Moore looks so different to me with all the highlights in her hair. Her hair is such a different color. I'd never really seen her like that before. Like that, like the hair was really light.
And the only one I don't know is Wendy. I don't know her from.
She's actually an
Prior.
award-winning actress, and you probably wouldn't know her from any other thing.
I saw her dressed like that in something else that she was in.
She's done well. She always looks like that, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I'm not saying she's never. It's just it's almost like her character. She almost didn't fit.
Who would they put in there? Who would you put in there as a Brat Pack actor? Or another actor around that time that's a little bit more famous now, because she's the only one that really didn't make much of herself.
Well, you could put Molly in there.
Molly Ringwald.
She could have played that, I think, if you put those clothes on her and she was a little bit more.
Yeah, because she's always playing somebody who is weird clothes.
Yeah.
Do you know that?
Like Pretty in Pink, she was dressed weird. I mean, she was. I think the pickup artist. She might have been. I don't know.
Do you guys know that Ray? What's her name that played Wendy?
Mayor something, Mayor Wenningham or Wenningham something.
She actually was the older one of the group, which she did look like she was a little bit older. But she had already had 2 kids of her own, I believe, and she was pregnant during filming of that.
I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. And none of them hung out with each other. Like one was reading this book, and the other one was working on his comedy routine. The other one was listening to Bruce Springsteen in his headset. That's what I didn't like about it was. I don't think they all connected as a cast, and I prefer movies where the cast has great stories behind the movie. That's weird of me, but that does make the movie for me sometimes.
Except for 2 of them, Demi Moore and Emilio Estevez were dating.
Yeah, they were together.
But I did, knowing that she was pregnant, it was even creepier for me when Rob Lowe took his hand and put it in places here and there. And I'm thinking, she's pregnant. I don't know. I don't know. It just felt really even creepier to me knowing that. You know what I mean?
Kind of gross.
Yeah, I know it's a movie and you're not supposed to know she's pregnant and that she's older, but still, because I knew that just from doing the trivia and stuff, I was like, oh God, just don't put your hands over there. It's like, she's a mom, leave her alone. I don't know.
Acting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that was our show, everybody. I'd like to thank Ray for joining us here. Once again, welcome back, buddy.
Thank you. I love doing this show, so thank you for having me. Sorry it's been
Absolutely.
So long.
No, it's cool. I understand. But remind the audience where they can find you.
Well, New England Legends podcast. I do that with Jeff Belanger. That's a lot of fun. And then I started another podcast 4 or 5 months ago called Don't Quit Your Day Job, where I talk to musicians who are in cover bands, because it's a whole other world and it's a whole other story. So you can hear that once a week too. Don't Quit Your Day Job.
Awesome.
And
I would like to thank Steve Lavoie.
You have your own radio station.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have to listen to mine if you're not in the area.
I do.
Oh, thank you.
I will say I haven't listened to the new one that you have, but I listen to the American New England Legends all the time. I just listened to one the other day on the way. Yeah.
Oh, appreciate it.
Yeah. It's good.
Well, I'd like to thank Steve Lavoie for our vocal imaging and Draco and the Malfoys for our theme music. And please like this video and like this podcast. You know, if you listen on audio, subscribe to our podcast wherever you are, and make sure you hit the bell icon so you can be notified when we release a new episode. Tell your friends, please. And my name is Jay Fortier, and on the behalf of Chris Martineau and Melanie Harrowton, I'd like to thank you again for joining us here on the Film Crickets. And until next time, movies may not age like fine wine, but we drink it anyway. Well, at least 3 of us do.
Whiskey.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Film Crickets, chirping about movies.